Well, good morning. Join me, Marcus, as I walk the Briton Ferry Incline. Well, what's that, I hear you ask? Well, the railway incline was built in the 19th century to connect the South Wales Mineral Railway and the coal mines of the Upper Avon Valley with a new dock at Briton Ferry. Well, the walk itself is just over a mile long to the top, and I'll put the exact distance and all the details after I've done the walk, and it's recorded on the All Trails app. So I'll put a link for that down below. And the gradient, it was about 1 in 10, and the wagons were lowered and raised on a cable system, like a pulley system, and we'll get onto that later. I'm starting here in Jersey Park in Briton Ferry, a pretty little park which opened in 1925. And before I started filming, I was chatting with a bloke, a friend of Jersey Park, and he was talking about the struggle to maintain the park, keep it open and in a good condition, and how much heritage there is in the area, and how it's sort of neglected, which is a bit of a shame here. And also Briton Ferry Docks is a bit run down as well. Hopefully with organisations like his own and some others in the area, they can keep the history alive. Anyway, so I'm starting here in Jersey Park. I've actually parked in Briton Ferry Forest car park, which we'll be walking past on the way up the incline. And I've done a walk from there previously around Briton Ferry Forests, and I'll link that below. But also, as I walk up the path, I'll be pointing out some of the features of the railway, which you can still see. Some are hidden, and some, like the impressive bridges, are quite obvious. So that's the background. Let's get started. So I'm currently walking through Jersey Park, and I've started at the bottom end, the Neath Road end. So we're walking through the gardens, and we haven't got onto the incline yet. By the way, on the app, the All Trails app, look at the route, ignore the time, because usually I record the walk on the app, then I go back and film. But I'm doing both in one today. So that means I'm stopping and filming, so the timing's all out. Basically, if you think about it, it's going to take you about maybe 1 and a bit miles up, 1 and a bit miles back. So it should be about 45 minutes. It's not a long walk. You can extend it down the old railway tracks, but it does end, it gets to private land. It is a pretty little park. The path now has joined the incline. It's only like a minute's walk through the park. And I did manage to find one photograph of the old incline, and I'll show you that later. So we continue walking straight up now, and very shortly you'll see the first sign of the railway. So our first sign, a big railway bridge going over the path. And there's one thing there, a little feature, which I'll show you, which is quite unique for the incline railway. The railway and the docks, it was one of the last projects for Brunel, Isambard Kingdom, Brunel, and he actually died before they were completed. I think he died in 1859. And everything was completed in the 1860s, I think. Anyway, let's have a look at the feature on the wall under the bridge. I don't know if you can see the metal brackets in the wall under the arch. But they're the remains of the old signalling system which ran along the incline, stretching from the top to the bottom. Here's a better view of the bridge. I'm not facing the sun as we walk up the incline. So we're getting to the end of the park now. This is the end of Jersey Park, and to the right is where I've parked. That's the Briton Ferry Forest car park, and that's free. So I've left Jersey Park. Up there is where I've parked, the Briton Ferry Forest car park, free. And the path, the incline, continues up there. But before I continue, have a look at this old photograph. It's the only one I found. Have a look at this. Let's continue. Well, it's been a pretty dire summer for walking. It's been quite cold and wet. So I'm dressed with a thick shirt and shorts for the heat or the cold. It's probably not suited for either. So as I said, the incline is roughly 1 in 10. As you walk up the incline, about halfway up, I think we come to a bridge. Walking up the path, you won't notice it, but it goes over a minor road. And it's quite a fine stone-cut bridge. So what I'm going to do is just quickly pop down there to the road so you can see the bridge we're going to walk over. There it is. The incline railway ran over the top of that, and this was a little road between villages below it. That's the stone bridge. So now I'm going to go back up the path to the incline railway, continue walking to get to the top. And that's where the winding system was, and the pulleys and things to lower and raise the wagons. Let's see if there's any remains of that. I know there's no remains of machinery, but evidence of where the machinery once stood. Let's go. When you look at the map, and you see a little diversion, a little squiggle, that's where I went, off the bridge to look at the front of it. So back up the path, you can actually see the extent of the incline here. Take a look. So it's far too steep for a regular locomotive to get up. Onwards and upwards. So in this area you can see where they cut through the stone when they built the incline railway. And if you look carefully, you can see some of the marks in the rock. They must have hammered in rods and things to break away the rock. It's more visible further up, but there's some here. The sun is trying to come out. It's breaking through the trees. all uphill. But luckily, going back will be easier. I think I can see the top, but it starts to level off. You can see brickwork there, where buildings were built up against the rock face. I don't know if you can see a little platform area over there. So we saw some of the brickwork there. So this is where the winding machines were to lower and raise the wagons. And apparently there were little grooves somewhere where the cables, little channels where the cables ran. But it's summertime and everything's quite overgrown, so you can't really see the rocks and the buildings that well at the moment. And it is a bit muddy down there as well. Oh my God. Give you some idea how much rain we've had. Remember, when this was working, this area had no trees whatsoever. You can see some brickwork down there, and it looks like a channel. Maybe this is the sort of area where the cabling would run. I don't know if you can see on the camera down there, you can see a definite channel. It's all overgrown and covered in ivy. You can see it more clearly this end. Again, more brickwork there. And that's looking down the path towards Jersey Park. So I'm now at the top, and I looked at the map, and it was 1.15 of a mile from Jersey Park by Neath Road up to the top. And now I'm emerging. I've gone past the incline railway, and just for interest, I'm going to walk down a bit. This where the railway from the valleys would come out carrying the coal, and the South Wales Mineral Railway. And I think if it's not too muddy, I'll walk down here. And I think there is one bridge. You can see signs. This was once a railway, again by quite an impressive stone bridge. I'll see if I can get to that. But look at the views. So let's continue down the road a bit. I know you can't go that far down, it becomes private land. But let's see how far we can walk. I hope this walk wasn't too short for you, but it's quite an interesting area and there's not much online about it. And as I'm doing travel on Fly Drive Explore, like our cruises and things, I thought on my walking channel, I'll do the walk and include a bit more of the history of the area when I'm walking it. So that's what's happening. So this railway went through a tunnel through the mountain and came out in the Avon Valley. Unfortunately, you can't walk through it and it's all collapsed and flooded. But the Rhondda Tunnel up near Treorchy, that's the one they're trying to reopen and make into a cycle and walking path between the valleys. So have a look at that, the Rhondda Tunnel. By the way, if you're watching this and you know of a walk that not many people know about, or you think is a bit of history that's going to be lost, let me know in the comments below. Sensible stuff, none of this weird stuff about aliens and stuff like that. Proper stuff. And if you're a member of a society, a history society, a walking club or something like that, and want to show me something, I'd gladly meet up and go for a walk somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to walk up as far as that bridge. No sign of it yet. It looks pretty muddy down there, and I think there's a path up the side on the left, so I'll take that. So you can see another cutting where the railway would have run. I don't know if I mentioned it at the start, as well as the incline, I may go over and do a walk around Briton Ferry Dock. Again, a project, getting caught with brambles there, a project by Isambard Kingdom Brunel. One of the last ones he did, well, he actually died before it was completed, so there's some interesting sites over there. Again, it's fallen into disrepair. We'll have a look at that someday. Don't know if you can see it through there. It's quite a steep cutting, and here's the bridge. That cutting and that old line went under. And to this point from Jersey Park is 1.7 miles. So I'm going to see if I can get a photograph or some film of the front of the bridge, get down into the cutting. Here's a path down. So there's the bridge. It doesn't look high enough for me. Has it been filled in? But that arch looks a bit lower. Whether it's the actual track's been filled in with mud and stone over the years, and the actual track was lower than it is now. So that was my short walk from Briton Ferry up the old incline, then along the old railway track until we got to this bridge. Quite a short one, but I thought it was quite interesting, and an area not that many people know about unless they live in the area. Hopefully I'll get to do more walks. I know I've been a bit slack in doing these walks on this channel, but I may have more time, especially if they're shorter ones like this. But remember, in the meantime, keep walking. Bye.